Hey there, friends. Welcome back to Daily Dose Radio here in the Bible Bistro. Today in the Bible Bistro, we're going to be studying Psalm 147. I'm looking over here because I got my notes right over here. I got a little different setup today. I'm trying to work out the whole lighting situation without having to go buy some lights. And I don't really have great natural light here at the house. So this is probably the most natural light I can get in the setting in my house. So I hope it's not too much. Hope it's not too little. And of course, the background behind me is kind of bland. But that's not what we're here for anyway. We're here to study the Psalms verse by verse, 5 minutes a day, 5 days a week, studying the Psalms verse by verse. That's what Daily Dose Radio is all about. And today we're looking at Psalm 147, and we're going to read verses 1 through 11. Originally, I had divided this psalm into two parts, verses 1 to 10, verses 11 to 20, because it's easy to divide it there. I get 2 verses a day for 5 days, both weeks, so we're doing this in 2 parts. We're going to do part 1 and a part 2, but I realized as I was studying the psalm that we have a natural division created in the psalm with the language, praise ye the Lord. And of course, this is a Hallel psalm. And so when we see that at the beginning, we're not surprised, but then in the middle, you kind of think, well, maybe the psalmist was trying to tell us something about how he wants the psalm to be divided up, how it's to be sectioned out, in other words. So we're going to do 1 through 11 this week, today verses 1 and 2. And then the remainder of next week, well, actually not next week, but the first week in January, we'll do the second half of 147, 11 through 20, or 12 through 20. Now, that's just to remind you that Daily Dose Radio is getting ready to take its Christmas vacation. We're going to do 2 weeks off the air so that I can travel and see all my kiddos and celebrate Christmas with them. So next week will be the week of Christmas, and the week after that is the week of New Year. So it'll be the first full week of January when Daily Dose Radio returns. But for this week, verses 1 through 11 in Psalm 147. So let me read this for you. Praise ye the Lord, for it is good to sing praises unto our God, for it is pleasant, and praise is comely. The Lord doth build up Jerusalem. He gathereth together the outcasts of Israel. Now, I told you last week that this particular psalm, or all of these psalms, these last 6 psalms, beginning last week, all have a theme. Israel is the theme of this psalm, all 20 verses. We begin here, and you already notice that we have Israel and Jerusalem mentioned there in verse 2. So last week was the soul's psalm of praise. This week is Israel's psalm of praise. Next week, I forget what next week is. I think next week, or not next week, goodness, the second full week in January will be the psalm for the created order. And then the church's psalm of praise will be the week after that. So we're getting close to the end here. I'm kind of sad, actually. We're getting down to the end of the second run-through of the Psalter. So let's look at what we have here. Our first division is Praise Ye the Lord. And he goes on to say, it is good to sing praises unto our God. Okay, that's a powerful statement, isn't it? It is pleasant and praise is comely. So not only is it a good thing, but it's good for you. It has an effect on you because it's pleasant and it's comely. That is, it's beautiful. And it makes the one praising the Lord beautiful. There's something about praise that transforms even the one giving it. So there's this lovely statement here about the value of praising the Lord. We use our mouth too often to gossip, to speak poorly of others, to speak poorly of ourselves, to run down our family, to say things that are just inappropriate, that are, just filthy. I mean, we use our mouth for all kinds of things. Remember what James said, out of one spring, can you get fresh water and salty water? usually doesn't happen except from the mouth, because out of the mouth, the heart flows out of the mouth, and we get whatever's in the heart. But when we examine what we're using our mouth for and then look at this psalm, we think to ourselves, oh, you know what I need to do? I need to correct myself. I need to be praising the Lord more than I am. I need to be thanking Him, singing to Him, and so forth. Let's use our mouth for what God created it for. The Lord does build up Jerusalem, and He gathers together the outcasts of Israel. I'll actually say more about that tomorrow as we look at verses 3 and 4. So join me then here on Daily Dose Radio.